Plaintiff Pamela Burns is suing her former friend for several unpaid loans and emotional distress. Pamela says the defendant is a stripper and a compulsive liar who hired Pamela to babysit, but now the defendant won't pay Pamela back. Defendant Athena Orr claims she's no longer stripping, but she says Pamela broke up her engagement when Pamela told Athena's ex-fiancé that Athena's a prostitute who was cheating on him. She's countersuing for emotional distress.
Remain standing. The Honorable Judge Jeanine Pirro presiding.
Hello, Doug.
Hello, Judge. Be seated.
All right. The plaintiff is suing her former friend for unpaid loans and emotional distress. The defendant is countersuing her former friend for emotional distress as well. Pamela, state your case.
Athena is a compulsive liar and a very good con artist.
She didn't even finish the sentence. Go ahead.
I'm going to stop her right there because she's talking about how I'm a liar, but yet she ruined my family. She called
How'd she ruin your family?
Because she called my fiance, told him I was prostituting, that I was cheating on him and everything else. He texted me with that information saying that he believed her.
All right. We're gonna try to fine tune this a little bit. Why don't you start, Pamela? What is your claim?
I just want to say, she will give you a sob story. That's how she got to me. I even brought some Kleenex that the bailiffs want to give them to her for her fake crocodile tears because they will start pretty soon. Back in late October of 2008, I had an ad up for babysitting, and she responded to the ad. She was a stripper at a local club there. And
a stripper?
Not anymore, but yes, at the time I was.
So you're a stripper looking to be a babysitter?
No, I was a babysitter.
I hired her. Your Honor, I hired her to babysit.
She puts an ad for a babysitter and you go to her?
No, she came to me. I had an ad posted that she replied to.
Babysit.
That I was babysitting.
Yes.
And she replied to it. I ended up, in December, I loaned her some money, only to later find out.
The babysitter loans the stripper money.
Well, we had gotten to talk and we were beginning to be friends at the time, I thought.
What are you loaning her money for?
She said it was for, she needed for back rent. She was getting kicked out of her house. She was crying, saying her 2 kids had nowhere to go. She was at that time.
Okay, so you loan her money?
Yes.
How much?
We ended up loaning her, taking a loan out for her for $4,000.
You took a loan out for her?
Yeah.
You're a stripper.
Stupid.
Don't you make a lot of money stripping?
I'd only been dancing at that point for about 3 weeks, and I was moving into. I was moving into a new house, and she said that they would give me the loan. They gave me the loan. I moved into. Who
gave you the loan?
Pam did, and I moved into the new house. And I continued, and me and my fiance worked things out. We were living there together, and basically, he wasn't working, so I was the only one working, which is why I was dancing. And then in June, I had asked her to take my dogs for the weekend, and I dropped them off on Wednesday. And then on Sunday, she gave me the call that my dog was dead, the one which was my dad's dog. So and my dad's passed away now.
How'd the dog die?
That
heat stroke.
Well, for one thing, I had the dog for like a couple weeks.
I don't care. How did the dog die?
He dug a hole, and I don't know what happened. He just dug
his own grave.
Yeah, pretty well.
He was going to die.
When we walked out there, I thought he was sleeping. I walked in there, and he had dug a hole and laid down and just died in it. Thing. I didn't understand it either.
I was joking.
He did.
No, it really did.
Knew he was going to die, so
I have witness statements that were there that day. See, she knew. I didn't.
What kind of dog is this?
No, Your Honor, she went out of town.
You know what? Everybody wants to talk. What kind of dog is this?
An Australian Shepherd, which is a black dog, and I have pictures of him, and he has a very heavy coat, and in Missouri, it's extremely hot. She went on a float trip that weekend. He always dug a hole when he was trying to get cool. He was so tangled up, he couldn't get to shelter to get out of the sun, and he couldn't get to water.
There was plenty of shelter.
No,
food.
there was.
I've got a witness statement.
You weren't there.
I have a witness statement when
a witness watching the dog.
No, after it had happened, he come out there, a mutual friend of ours, to help load up the dog, and he saw where there was food, water, and we had a great big dog house out there for them to. They could have walked right into.
It's very sad. Let me see what you got.
And I also have a statement.
And I did apologize, but I had the dog for 2 weeks. She asked me to take him because she was afraid her boyfriend would do something to him. And I did take the dog. She knew that we were leaving Thursday morning to go on a trip until Sunday.
This is the one who died?
The black one, yes. And Your Honor, the thing is he was still so hot that I even shook him thinking that he was still alive. And I kept saying, Bear, if you're still there, let me know. I'll take you to the vet.
She knew that we were going on a float trip that that weekend. She had known this. We planned this back in January.
Where are we living now? In Missouri?
Yeah.
What month did the dog die? What date?
That was in June.
First weekend
How
of
hot
June.
does it get in June?
Between 80, 85 degrees plus humidity.
Okay. How long was the dog alone?
I left on Thursday, came home on Sunday, but
Oh,
a cousin
Friday,
of mine,
Saturday, Sunday.
a cousin of mine was there Saturday morning to check on them.
You have a statement?
Not from her.
Then I don't want to hear it. Go ahead.
I was upset too because I know this dog meant a lot to her. I made the phone call to her and I told her I was sorry. I don't know how many times because I didn't mean for this to happen. They had. I mean,
Which
they
you
had.
have a
They
picture
had
of him,
You're
too.
not suing her for the death of the
Yeah,
dog.
that's
Yeah.
part of the emotional distress.
Well, no, that's different from
But I
emotional
also
distress.
Between the dog and then 2 weeks later is when she caused all the problems between my fiance telling him
All
I was
right, tell me
prostitute.
what she did.
2 weeks, of course, after the dog incident, she was, her and her husband had got in a fight about the money that she had, loaned. And he apparently walked out on her for a couple hours, where during that couple hours, she decided to call my fiance and cry on his shoulder. Me and him were still fighting over everything that she told him while he walked out. And I mean, we were supposed to get married. We have a mutual child together that's getting ready to turn 1. I mean, my heart belongs to this man. I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him.
Why
But
would
you
he
see, her
listen
husband's
to
by
her?
her. But, her husband's still next to her side, but mine's not. He's out.
What did she say that made
She
your...
told him I was prostituting
I
with
did not.
customers from a club and that I was cheating on him and that
not say
I
that.
told her to call
You
the
didn't
cops.
say any of this?
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Why would you be so angry to call her fiance?
I was not angry. What happened was the money I had loaned her, we took out of the bills that we owed to pay her bill to get her electric turned back on so she could get her kids back home. I had her kids for like 5 days because she had no electricity.
Mm-hmm.
So I turned the electricity on and she promised me I'll bring it Wednesday. Wednesday came, she picked up her kids. I got to cash the money order. Thursday came, she didn't have time to bring it. Friday came, she didn't have time to bring it. Well, then I had to borrow money from my in-laws to put that back in our account so that we had money to pay our bills.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Sunday, finally, I had to tell my husband that what I had done because he didn't want me loaning her anything else after the loan thing.
You didn't know stand-up, sir.
No.
Your first name?
Robert.
Did you know that she had borrowed $4,000?
Yes.
The $4,000, but not the $275 for the electric bill.
Let me ask you a question. Well, how did you feel about your wife taking out a loan for $4,000 to give it to a stripper?
It was not very nice. I didn't like it very nice.
No, it was very nice for her. Sit down. Thank you.
So anyway, on Sunday, which was Father's Day, we had gotten into an argument.
Who?
Me and my
You and
husband.
him about loaning her money. The
because
$4,000 and the $275.
Yeah, she kept texting me saying, "I'll bring it. I'm on my way. I'll be there as soon as I get down to my mom." I
Did
Did you
Her
tell her you were
mom.
going to bring it?
That was Sunday and I couldn't make it. And that's when, and while I was out at my mom's is when she contacted my fiance and I have the phone records
But
also.
What's he say?
Don't ever bother me again. Call your wannabe husband at the lake. We are done forever.
Who's the wannabe husband at the lake?
That was the customer she said I was prostituting with.
Where do you get off, the babysitter, trying to tell her fiance and bust up her relationship that she's sleeping around with the guy at the lake?
I didn't. I called him that Sunday night and asked him, I said, "Do you know where Athena is?"
Right.
And I was crying because I was upset. We had gotten into yet another fight. And he goes, "Why? What's wrong?" And I said, "Well, we loaned her $275 to get y'all's electric turned back on last week.
You
And,
already knew that.
and I haven't got paid back. She's been promising me every day since Wednesday that I'd get it. And we're in another fight because of it." And he's
Well,
like,
what about the $4,000? Forget the $275.
well, and I had mentioned that to him also. And I said, we're in a fight because, not only do we have this, we're still making the payments on the $4,000 that she's
And
never
yes,
paid on.
Yes.
And he's like, "Oh my God." He goes, "I didn't know nothing about this. I'll call her and get to the bottom of it."
So why is he leaving you now?
He left that following morning because she told him I was prostituting and cheating on him,
She
among
attacked him
other
again.
things.
And he thinks so
And
little
he
of
believed
you
her.
that he believed her?
over
That's because she
me.
attacked him the next morning when she got home again.
Here's another thing is she was talking to my ex all the way up until 2 weeks ago. Consistently, even after all this, she continued talking to him on the phone almost on a daily basis up until about 2-3 weeks ago.
You know your wife is talking to her ex-fiance?
Yes.
Do you know why?
Trying to
Stand up.
get my money back.
Let me ask you a question. I'm not comfortable with any of this, okay? What I've got here is I've got Athena, who's saying that she's a homewrecker. I've got Pamela saying that she's a prostitute. And it's besides sounding like the Real Housewives of New Jersey, I've got your wife calling her ex-fiancé on a regular basis to get money that she owes you when he has no obligation to pay for it. What's she doing?
I wasn't trying to get the money from him.
So what are you talking to him about?
He was going to be a witness for us.
A witness to what?
To all those lies that she had told us.
But you just said he didn't know about the $275.
No, he knew about it. He didn't know she hadn't paid it back yet.
You want your money? Sue her. All right? You don't get involved in messing up her relationship. Worry about your own relationship. Okay. Now, sit down. You know you owe them the money.
Yep. I never denied that I owed it. But you could hand her or me $1 million right now at this point, and it is not going to repair the damage that she's done to my family. And I have a child with him, which means I did not do it to myself.
You have a child with the fiancé?
Yes. He'll be a year, a week from Saturday.
Let me ask you a question. Althena, I just want to make a suggestion to you. You're a smart woman. You're an attractive woman. You're the mother of his son. Is there no way you can get him back?
I'm trying. But I'm sure she's going to go home and make sure.
You better stay away from him.
I
really mean it. You know, I don't like people who get involved in other people's personal lives. It is poison. It is poison and it's wrong.
I didn't get involved in
You know
her
what?
life.
Stay away from him. I bet you can do it. You know what? My money's on you. And stop borrowing money from other people. Now, you're countersuing her for emotional distress. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Emotional distress is not a cause of action in itself. It's the intentional infliction of emotional harm. You know, when somebody breaks up your relationship, and make no mistake, it was teed up to be broken. Okay. And that's something you've got to examine. But so you don't get anything for emotional distress, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you money for the dog. Now, what was the value of the dog?
You know, honestly, Your Honor, I can't even tell you the value because he was my dad's dog, so it was sentimental attachment more than anything.
I get sentimental about animals too, especially animals that die when they don't need to.
I felt like
I'm going to give you $500. Put that in your pocket and do something with it. Now, I'm going to award you the money and the interest. And the bottom line, your electric bill, $275, you get that too. So ordered. Thank you.